And we're back in the attic, which is in the bathroom. So we got no cool call. So I can hear the fans running. I can hear refrigerant flowing. Check it. Got some ice. So let's open up this coil, see what's going on. So here we go. Alrighty, so she is pretty frozen. Nice thing about this though is it's a heat pump, so we should be able to just put it in heat mode and then take care of it right away. I'm just gonna check this filter. I know this filter was actually just changed not too long ago, but just double check. Yeah, so it's already trashed. So I'm gonna pop a new filter in there. I just changed it, and yeah, this is my lovely handwriting. Just changed it in September 19th of this year. So that was less than a month ago. Yeah, I don't know if that's the cause of it, but let's go ahead and get this thing defrosted. So anyway, I don't think this is a heat pump. This is an air handler, I think the electric heat. I'm gonna go to the outdoor unit and let this thing defrost. So I'm just running the fan right now. And then we have a mini split here, which is also not working. It's just circulating air, so yeah. All right, so we're at the outdoor unit. As you can see, there's no reversing valve, so it's straight cool. We're gonna let that thing do its thing, and we're over here working on this stupid thing. So yeah, this is a Fujitsu. It's been a long time since I worked on these, but I just remember them being a pain in the butt. So I got a light right here, but I can't see if it's actually lighting up or not because it's so bright up here. But we do have some error codes there. The compressor is running, the discharge line's hot, but the suction line's not very cold. Fan is running, compressor's barely running, so I'm thinking maybe there's a low charge and it just hasn't tripped yet. The indoor unit is moving air, but it's not very cold, so I'm gonna get some temperatures off of the indoor unit, and then we'll go ahead and reset this unit, and then probably throw on some probes and see if we can kind of get an idea of what's going on with this, because I don't remember, but I believe these actually have a test mode where I can just kind of force it full blast. I don't remember. It's been a really long time. I actually went to a Fujitsu class a long time ago, but I haven't really run into them because the company I work for stopped installing them because they suck. So, but yeah, so apparently someone else came out here and it had this error code on here, the overheat discharge protection. So, I mean, the discharge is hot, but it's not like burning my hand, so I don't see how that happened. I'm not seeing any frost anywhere. The small line is, I don't know what you would call that because it's the line after the EV. So I guess it's part of the evaporator, I don't know. And then the suction line, it's lukewarm, and then this guy is kind of warm too. Yeah, it's not very cold. So on a mini split in cooling mode, usually this smaller line, which most people think is a liquid line, which it really isn't, is cold. That's why it's insulated as well. In heat mode, it's actually a liquid line, but in cool mode, it's actually the line after the metering device going into the indoor coil. It's just on a regular unit, it's pretty short, but on a mini split, it's super long. That's why they have to insulate the small line as well, because it'll start to condensate. Alrighty, so I've killed the power on the outdoor unit and the indoor unit. Let's just let it reset. I'm gonna check the pressures while it's off, while I'm waiting for it to equalize and see what's going on with that. Alrighty, so we got our probes hooked up and pressures are looking okay, about 230. It's about 75 degrees out here. And we're about 77 saturation, so if we're low, it's not extreme. I'm gonna check out these, what do you call it, these thermistors, make sure. So I think there's like 3 total, so it's these guys right here. Those are the thermistors. I think there's one back there somewhere. So we're just gonna test those, make sure they're all working. I'm thinking that maybe it's not a refrigeration problem. Either it's an intermittent issue with the EEV, where it's maybe closing down too much, which could also be caused by a thermistor not reading properly. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find some thermistor data, and then we'll go from there and test all that stuff, and then we'll also check the EEV head. All right, so we got our pipe clamp on the discharge line. That's the same line as our discharge sensor or thermistor, which is this yellow guy right here. It's usually plugged right here. It's the CN60. So our current temperature right now is 126 degrees. So if we look at our chart here, which is the service manual for the for Fujitsu for this particular unit, 122 should be 3.45 kiloohms. Okay, so this is when your micro leads are going to come in handy. So let me go ahead and see if I can do this one-handed. Yeah, so it's very important that you unplug this when you're testing this. All right, and there we go. So we got 22.40. So that's definitely not 3.45 kiloohms. And oh, double check. Yeah, and you can see I have k ohms on the bottom, so it is reading kiloohms. So that's going to be a problem. So let's see, 22 is what we're getting, so that should be, so it's reading 50 degrees. Okay, let's see, our outdoor temperature sensor. Let's see, our outdoor temperature sensor is one of these. I think it's this blue one, which is CN62. So let's go ahead and check that one. And we have my thermistor here, so it's about 75 degrees, so we should be getting about that. Let's see, so 75 degrees on our chart here. So 68 is going to be about 12.6 kiloohms. So 86 will be 7.97. So we should have somewhere between 7 and 12 kiloohms on the outdoor sensor. And that's this blue guy right here. All right, so we are measuring our outdoor temperature sensor or thermistor. Yeah, so we're at 9.94, so that's about where we want it. So I would say this guy's working fine. Let's see what else we got. So we got our pipe temperature. So that's gonna be the one that controls the EEV, I believe. And it's back there somewhere. I don't know if you can see that, but that's where the EEV is. So let's see, pipe temperature. Pipe temperature is this guy here, which is this wire, which runs somewhere back there, it looks like. Yeah, so I think that's the EV temperature. So I need to find out where that is, and then I need to put a pipe clamp on it. That way I can confirm temp. Our pipe temperature, we got about 100 degrees back there from what I could see, and that's the same chart. So 117, so we should be like 100 degrees. So if we look at our chart here, so 26, so 41 to anywhere between 26 and 41. So it's a little bit on the low side. We got about 24. So yeah, I think that one's okay though. But yeah, the discharge is way off. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the discharge sensor. I'm gonna check the EEV now, and just to make sure that it's all good. All right, so we got our EEV here. So we're gonna do white to red. And like I said, we should be getting 42 to 50 ohms. So we're getting 48 on white to red. Next one we're going to do is yellow to brown. We are getting 47. Oh, we want to do orange to red. Changing it up. Orange to red. We got 48.8. So far so good. Now blue to brown. And we got 48.8, so yeah, it's good to go. So EEV is good. So I think we may have a problem with the discharge temperature sensor. So we're going to order one of those up and see what that does. But now that we've had the unit off for a while, we'll go ahead and kick it back on. Yeah, so it appears that it's reading too high, so that could be what's causing our high pressure situation, or high temperature overheating stuff, which hasn't happened for me, but apparently that's happened in the past. So let's go ahead and put this thing all back together and we'll go from there. Alright, she's all defrosted. So we're going to go ahead and kick this back on. We'll check the charge. Got a new filter in there. I'm going to close this all up, and then we'll go back on the roof and make sure the charge is good. But from what I understand, they basically ran it overnight, and it was like 30-something degrees last night. So yeah. Our supply, we're about 60 degrees. Looks like we're at about a 21-22 degree split between supply and return. Well, discharge and return anyways. But yeah, so it's definitely working. We'll check the pressures just to make sure, but we're definitely cooling. So one down. Now we just gotta get that thermistor. So for some reason the rest of the video got cut off, but I went to the roof and threw my probes back on that system and checked the refrigerant charge. It seemed to be okay. It was a little bit low, but I think it was kind of cold that day. So I think it was fine. As you saw, the delta T between supply and return was totally fine. So I had recommended that they put in a low ambient kit, because apparently they were running it all night long and it was like 35 degrees that night. So I think that's why it froze. And then it just, once it froze, it just, and you know, it just never satisfies, because they leave their doors open on hot days. So, you know, it just runs and runs and runs. That's why they put that mini split in, is to keep up for the load, because that unit by itself is just way too small to handle that space, especially with the doors open all the time. Also, the mini split, I ordered some new thermistors, so we're going to go back and install those, and hopefully that fixes their issue. So anyway, hopefully this helps you out if you come across this. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment to him what a horrible technician I am. Hit that bell notification and follow me on Instagram, Facebook. And if you like the tools I use, visit my Amazon store. Thanks for watching.